DZRJ 810 AM, the voice of the Philippines, proudly brings you Equal Justice. Find out the hottest legal issues of the week and hear the analysis. And now, here are your hosts, Attorney Ador Tolentino.
Yes to peace, no to BBL. Facebook. Okay, if you want to follow
Attorney June Kicho.
Kailangan comfort level eh.
Exactly.
And Attorney Tiki Tabuhara.
Vice President Binay, pati si Pinoy, pati si Executive Secretary. Chief.
Alright, we're back and
There was
the
a funny
answer
question.
to the question
Why
they
did you
left
file?
hanging in the balance
Yes.
before the break. Trixie, why did you file directly with the DOJ when the case or where the facts of the case supposedly happened somewhere in Quezon City, and we know that there is an office of the city prosecutor of Quezon City.
Well, what we did was we filed it with the Prosecutor General. So,
Okay.
as we know, whether you file it in Quezon City or in the DOJ, it will be under the National Prosecutorial Service.
Yes.
So, it is the NPS that will determine probable cause. We were more concerned with filing it in the appropriate venue. So, it wasn't just Quezon City. Another concern was that, of course, the Central, Quezon City, the Iglesia ni Cristo Central is in Quezon City.
It's located in Quezon City.
And our client...
It's just a few kilometers from the...
Oh, yes. Spitting distance. Really.
Exactly.
So, and our client's main concern was, at the time, a high level of security and safety.
Yeah.
So, bringing him too near to the
Yes.
place was a consideration.
Right.
At any rate, we believe that when we file with the DOJ, the Prosecutor General can anyway transfer the case to the appropriate jurisdiction.
Yeah, without having to
Without
dismiss it.
prejudice.
Yeah.
Yes, without
Kumbaga,
prejudice.
refer to the proper
Correct.
jurisdiction.
Yes.
But so far, right now, wala kasing the DOJ really has not yet touched it, so to speak.
Yes. Actually, before filing with the DOJ, we looked at the rules to see what is allowed. So even based on the prosecutor's manual, there is no prescription for venue of the filing of the case. The way we figure it, the safest thing is to file with the DOJ, and
Of course.
let the Prosecutor General decide the venue. And if it was going to be challenged, then it's a simple matter of either challenging it through a certiorari, challenging the discretion of the Prosecutor General through a petition for certiorari with the courts, or simply to allow it to take its course and then question it later.
Right.
So little did we know
Yes.
it was going to cause a major uproar.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of that uproar that later on
Yes.
ensued after knowledge, of course, of the members of the Iglesia ni Cristo, especially those in the hierarchy,
Yes.
of the fact of filing
Yes.
of that illegal detention case by Samson against them in the DOJ. Because right after, there seemed to be like a deflected attention towards the secretary of the DOJ.
Unfairly,
Yes.
Unfairly so.
I want to know if the DOJ secretary was even aware when you filed
Actually, she didn't.
this complaint.
To which I think I
for
should
illegal
apologize. Because I've not always seen eye to eye with the DOJ secretary, and she knows that.
Yes.
So we've had our differences, and we've had our own back and forth answering in the media. But on this issue, and that's why everybody knows that I've not always been a rah-rah girl of the secretary. So she knows that I would never approach her for anything. Neither would I, because I would expect a no.
Right.
So she didn't know, and as far as we knew, when we filed with the DOJ, she wasn't even there. We asked around and they said she's in Malacanang.
I see.
So we filed it with the Prosecutor General.
Yeah, just
which is
like
the
any
appropriate-
ordinary case
any
filed on
ordinary
any given
case,
day,
yes.
I would suppose.
Even if we filed it with her, she would still refer it to the Prosecutor General.
Exactly.
So it doesn't really matter whether she knew about this or not.
Right.
The other reason also we filed with the DOJ is because there are congruent cases where there are several potential complainants. They haven't complained yet in the witness protection Service and who are being currently investigated by the NBI.
Right.
So since these are congruent cases, this involves another minister who was allegedly disappeared by members of the Sangguniang, the respondents in our case. We figured
Disappeared, you mean
yes.
extrajudicially?
Well, he's missing, so
Okay, alright.
and under very suspicious circumstances.
Okay.
So we know about the facts of that case, and in fact, our client would have considered being in the witness protection, but he wasn't. Yeah, we weren't too sure. Also, it would affect his mobility, and
That's right.
as it turns out, it was a good decision because the rally happened right outside of the DOJ.
Right.
And you know that sometimes the witnesses in the WPP are just inside that compound.
Yes.
So if our client was there, you'd be talking about 2 heartbeats away from
Right.
a crowd. So that was another reason we considered the DOJ. And as I said, we looked at all the rules and none of the rules said we couldn't.
Yes.
So as you know, in law, unless it says that you can.
That's right. If it
then
is not
it's presumed.
proscribed, then
Yes.
it is probably allowed.
Yes.
Until it is questioned, of course.
In fact, the only reason we're actually answering these questions is because nobody has filed a petition for certiorari on
Yeah.
why we filed in the
Exactly.
DOJ. I mean, there isn't even any damage yet.
Yeah. Well, so far right now, wala pa namang legal counter move ang INC except for that
The rally.
the rally, right?
Yes.
Wala pa silang counter move because
Have they answered?
wala pa kasing someone.
Wala pa nga pala.
Sila ang
Yes.
prosecutor.
That's exactly the point. It's like a premature mass action.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's right to seek redress.
Yes.
Right? And the filing of that complaint for illegal detention by Mr. Samson is exactly an exercise of that right
Yes.
to seek redress.
Yes. I think this is just one of the cases that are pending now, no, against the Iglesia or
Yes.
what? Because I know that they filed
Here's
a
another.
libel case
They filed against my client.
against your client.
Yes, they had a hearing last week.
Okay, so these are 2 distinct cases.
Yes.
Are they not
Related.
Consolidated. Maybe they filed it in Quezon City.
They filed it in
Yes.
Quezon City. I saw it on television.
They can't
Yeah.
be consolidated
Yes.
because my client is the complainant in illegal detention and
Yes.
the respondent in libel.
Yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
they won't
It did not
consolidate.
arise from the same
From the
series
same.
of transactions, but the libel is
Right after.
it's a
Happened after.
it's
Although, the nice thing about well, there's no such thing as a nice thing in a case, but in the libel complaint, what was alleged was that he allegedly lied about being illegally detained.
okay.
So,
Which is the meat of the illegal detention.
So
There you go.
my question is, are they actually related or are they not?
only
I
by
mean,
the rally, I think.
Yes.
They're related by the rally because
Yes.
suddenly the facts that are alleged in the libel case are falling apart.
Yes.
Because we filed an illegal detention case,
Right,
and
right.
that is what they're saying. It
Yeah.
constitutes the libel.
Right, right.
So,
Question.
Yes.
Who are the witnesses of Mr. Samson?
Well,
Just the immediate members of his family, or are there
there
independent?
are others that we would not. We have not.
You have not
at the
yet.
moment, yes.
Okay.
It's kind of very dangerous right now, even for Mr. Samson and his family.
Yes.
So they have, as you know, been on the run. As a matter of fact, during the libel case, there's kind of like a grace note to the proceedings. The prosecutor was smiling when he asked, "Why did you not get the previous notices?" So my client very calmly answers, "Because I have been on the run since you gave the date, since September so and so." And the prosecutor says, "Yes, I understand." In very sort of voice. So it's going, "Oh my God, this is surreal. How can we be talking about illegal detention in such a calm manner?" Kasi ako, I freaked out when I found out. Because it's not a simple illegal detention case. We're talking about hours of interrogation. We're talking about...
This one is for the movies, you know.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So...
Are there allegations of torture? Aside from, of course, the mental torture.
Yes, not this case. But there is another case that's about to be filed pertaining to that one.
But
On another
also by
minister.
Samson or
No,
another
another minister.
complainant?
Yes.
Okay.
So it gets more surreal.
Are you
Will you-
also
will-
the Are you also the counsel of Dr. Samson in the libel case?
Yes, we're handling the libel case, which we hope.
And will you also be the counsel of that other case that
Secret?
another minister will file?
Hintayin natin mawala yung complainant. So what we're saying here is that things are still unfolding.
Yes, yeah, it's
So-
interesting, and
It looks like we're just.
it's like a suspense movie.
Yes,
Yes,
we're
actually.
just still on the parang at the tip of the iceberg right now.
Yeah, you know what? When this is all done, it'll, even if we turn it into a movie, some people might not believe it.
Yes,
Because
of course.
there are things that go on behind the scenes that are extremely surreal.
Right.
For instance, one thing that we can talk about is that the use of the tiwalag, the
Yes.
expulsion.
Expulsion.
Yes.
It's like excommunication in Catholic
Exactly like that.
Church.
But it's far more than that, because when you're expelled from the church, the members cannot speak with
Exactly.
you anymore. You lose your
At
entire
the
support
risk
group.
of
Yeah.
also being expelled,
Yes.
right?
Para pa lang
That's the
nag-weak
rule.
na sa fraternity niya,
You
no?
cannot associate. Ay, alam niyo yan.
You're not
The brotherhood. The brotherhood.
Correct, diba? May umelta pa dyan. So, yes, so it's,
So right or wrong,
yes, and it
stick by the
used to-
side.
Yes, yes.
Side.
Yes.
Because I have some friends in the church of
Yes.
the Iglesia ni Cristo, and they'd rather not talk about and be
Yes.
involved in the issues.
Yes.
As far as they are concerned, they will always listen to the hierarchy.
Yes, it's obedience.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Ganun din naman ang mga
believe,
Katoliko eh.
believe ako sa ganung
Yes.
mindset nila.
Ganun din naman ang mga Katoliko eh.
Ganon din yung fraternity.
Isa ba?
Yes.
Yeah, oo nga, no.
The word of the law is the word of the
Tama nga.
black is
Medyo ito magnify lang kasi mas kokonti sila.
Yeah.
Tapos mas, parang it's like more manifest because
Yes.
of the sheer number. But sa atin kasi parang with 80% of the population being Catholics, parang yes, may ganun nga, pero daming shades kasi of gray.
Yes. Tapos ang
More than
daming
50
orders,
shades
diba?
of gray.
Yes.
Plus, there are the religious orders who have their
Yes.
own
Yes.
practices,
That's
and
true, that's
Yeah. And
that's
then,
completely allowed.
the INC people are always known for following
Yeah.
For obedience.
Yeah, for
It's a
obedience.
tenet.
That's true.
Yes, because the Catholics, among
Mas-
Catholics, we just talk
mas
about
tolerant
obedience.
kasi.
We talk about fire and brimstone.
We talk about
They're
disobedience in
disobedient.
Catholics.
Saka, almost all the members yata of the INC, wala kang, you cannot say that they are just ceremoniously or
Yes,
do you
they
call it-
don't pay lip service. They really
it's
are.
more of really,
True believers.
One of the reasons
they are
why I have so much respect
Yes.
for these
devout to
people.
their faith and
Yeah.
religion.
Yes.
They're true believers.
Exactly.
And that's what, I have such high respect for,
Yes,
for,
yes.
for the members of the church. Which
Kamutik
is
na ako
why,
na-convert dyan.
Ako, we make it very clear that this case is not an attack on the church.
Right.
It is
That should
not
be made clear indeed.
an attack on the head minister,
Yes,
the punong ministro. It is not against Mr. Manalo, but
Yeah.
the 8 respondents.
Yes.
And this is what most people don't know. In fact, I would like to inform the politicians that there are divisions within the church. The much vaunted block voting is perilous now.
Yes.
Because precisely of this, there is a perception among the members that there's too much protection going on for the 8 members of the Sanggunian. And they have been, this is completely documented, we're just waiting for the appropriate time to file the appropriate cases. But there are allegations against them.
Yes.
And that have
Allegations
worried.
of corruption, right?
Yes.
Money matters, money
Actually,
scam.
if you want to put it...
Even the construction of the Philippine Arena, I think is
Yes.
also an issue.
There are allegations of tompats, di ba?
Yes,
So,
yes.
so this
That is the
what
content of the
discussing.
blog that triggered it all.
Correct.
The blog that the Sanggunian is attributing to
silence, yes.
Samson merely because Samson is the editor-in-chief of Pasuko.
Pasugo.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's
Yeah.
quite
Why?
possible.
I didn't read that blog, but based on how you know about
Yes.
Mr. Samson being, your client now, what's the
Yes.
writing style? What's the writing style of that blog vis-a-vis the writing style of Mr. Samson?
It's kind of distant. Well, Mr. Samson is erudite in both languages.
Okay.
He has beautiful Filipino, and at the same time, because he was also involved with the foreign ministries, he was in the United States for quite some time. His English is also impeccable.
Yes.
So, but when you look at the blog, it's a little more passionate than the style of Mr.
Okay.
Samson. So, if they were looking at writing styles, then they did stray. I'm sorry to say that.
So
they
there
went
are
wrong.
more points you can say that
Yes.
that seems to be not kasi tayo alam natin yan. I know my writing style.
Yes.
I really
And there's certain words that
Exactly.
pop up all the time.
the way you use idiomatic expressions.
Yes.
Sometimes that's peculiar
Correct.
to your style in writing. You know.
So with in this case, however, we've said, and we said it quite, and my client is not even known for any wrongdoing. In fact, he's held in such high regard, which is why this caused such a firestorm within the
Yes.
church, because Mr. Samson has such an impeccable reputation
Yes.
within the church.
How many years was he sitting as the editor-in-chief of Pasugo?
I'm not sure, but he's second or third generation Iglesia. His father or grandfather was right
So they
there
have
at
a
the
very long
founding.
history of
Yes.
allegiance
Yes.
and obedience to the church.
In fact,
of,
even his son was
Iglesia
preparing
Iglesia.
for the
But
ministry.
I always,
Baker
I always
of-
try to make Kiki feel so envious. Sabi ko, every time Trixie is our guest, lagi kang wala.
Yeah. Has he ever
Oo nga eh. You know, he
has he
has,
ever sat down with Trixie?
hindi pa.
Oh, really?
You know, because this afternoon he has some errands with
For his son, yes.
son. We cannot argue with the son.
Yes.
Anyway, one of these days, I'm sure meron ka namang malaking papuputuking kaso, Trixie. And we're very glad to accommodate you, you know, to air all this information. So for the
I think what we should do is,
education of our
I think what we should do is tag Trixie.
Yeah.
Do we air that? Do we put that on Facebook?
Yeah.
Tag Trixie. Trixie.
tinatag natin siya dun sa lahat ng mga video ng mga
Yes, yung mga
guesting.
video ng mga guesting. Yeah, we should tag her.
Alright, so that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening in. This has been Attorney Ador Tolentino.
And this has been Attorney June Kicho.
And we had as our studio guest, of course, Attorney Trixie Cruz Angeles of the NCCA, or National Commission on Culture and the Arts.
Well, thank you for having me.
Alright, till next Saturday, we will revert back to our original time slot, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Only here.
Bye.